When we experience games, we put the majority of our focus on the high-action, flashy moments, that we often forget about the little guys. The title of this video isn't a typo, as we'll be shifting our focus from the extraordinary to the extraordinary VFX. These are the bits and pieces of VFX that we see in the most mundane context, and it is these same VFX that breathe life into your game. The examples I'll be using for this video are from Overthrown. To give a quick overview, you play as a super-powered monarch in this chaotic city builder where you manage and defend your kingdom from various threats. And it's also where I've spent 99% of my time as a professional VFX artist under Brimstone games. With that said, some of these clips might be outdated as we are still continuously updating the game, but the concepts should stay the same. Let's tackle our first category of extraordinary VFX. Ambient VFX is VFX that merely serves as an extra layer of polish or support in establishing your game's environment. These can exist as non-functional ambience, where it doesn't indicate any significant changes to the player's gameplay. Examples of these are the wind that's ever present in our surroundings, or splashes when items get dropped into water, or even the dust floating around the lamppost when it's lit up. It's amazing what even little specks can do to liven up a simple prop. On the other side of non-functional ambience is, of course, functional ambience, where it indicates significant changes to the player's gameplay and establishes any events in the environment that have happened or are currently happening. One major component to building your kingdom is gathering and managing resources. And one of the first resources you see are the logs, which you get from the trees all around you. Now comes the question, when you punch a tree and there's no UI to reflect the amount of damage done, did you really do damage? Your mind of course would say, yes, I just punched it. But your heart might think otherwise. To address this, I added some shaking animations and a couple of leaves falling. Now it can reflect the damage done with something that can be seen by both the character in-game and the player experiencing it. But this begs us another question. When a tree falls and all of its leaves suddenly disappear, does it make you happy? I'd venture to guess that it doesn't. So let's fix that. When the tree falls, we should show what happens to all the components that were affected in the transition. Thus, we see the burst of leaves when turning the tree trunk into a big log. This eases our player into the tree's forward step towards its demise. And we do the same with the tree's next step of becoming mini logs, with splinters flying out from the source log upon destruction. Of course, this concept is applied to as many items as we can, especially crops since they can have lots of hanging components attached to them. Due to a recent update, our mini logs or resources in general are automatically absorbed by the player when they are close enough. This absorption happens in the blink of an eye and can easily be missed by the player. To establish a better connection of this mechanic with the player, we can connect the resource being absorbed to the absorber, indicating that absorption has started and communicating its directionality. So we have all these resources. What now? Well, we can start shifting our focus to the buildings. Buildings can be made, occupied, lifted, and placed wherever, and are responsible for processing certain resources into a byproduct. At the moment, I believe the best building to showcase this is the blast furnace. Before any changes, this is how it normally looks like when it is empty, rooted, idle, and not processing any resources. And this is how it looks like when it has been occupied and is processing resources. Functionally, it's doing what it's supposed to, but the lack of visuals make it hard to grasp. Let's fix that. When a character enters, the doors now burst out and come back to their resting position. When it's lifted, the middle and top hatches close and then open back up again once the building is placed. And when it's operating, lava comes out of this opening and flows to the other end, the blowers do their thing, and the pipe at the top lets out puffs of smoke. By adding extra animations or VFX, not only does it indicate the building's state, it increases the life of the building by responding to what's happening. But 1 to 3, This implementation is specific to the blast furnace only. I'd have to be crazy to want to add specific systems for each building type, right? Crazy? I was crazy once. They locked me in a room, a rubber room. Yes, it was daunting at first, but I find that it's all well worth it. I'll take a few moments to show my favorite buildings with visual ambience. And with that, we can move to our second category of extraordinary VFX. Character VFX is VFX that supports the actions or interactions of the characters in your game. As the Monarch, you're able to do a lot of things. But again, our focus is on the extraordinary VFX. So let's start with the basics. The player can dash to cover a short distance quickly. Without VFX, the change in animation helps indicate that the dash has happened. While this is enough, we can do better and have VFX support that action. Puffs of smoke or wind going in the opposite direction helps other people see where the dash starts and in what direction. After a dash, the player has the option to sprint if they hold the dash input. The sprint speed and animation indicates a relatively stronger release of force compared to normal running. Adding VFX to this adds an extra layer of support and helps differentiate the action from normal running. Having your VFX match the terrain will give this an extra layer of detail that livens up the action. Grass will have small grass blades thrown up and behind the player, and the same is done with dirt particles when sprinting on dirt. Like 99% of game characters, the Monarch can jump, and there are 3 ways to jump in Overthrown. You can do a normal jump, a charged jump, and a crown jump. Again, these 3 can be distinguished by their animations and height differences. And again, VFX can help support these actions. We can apply the same extra layer of polish depending on the terrain that the player jumps off of. Pegasus Run is one of the more grand abilities that the Monarch has, and each state of the Pegasus Run has its own dedicated VFX to reflect what's currently happening. But I want you to focus on what happens when you equip the Greatsword while running. The weapon's model appears to hit the ground. This of course sparked some discussion regarding showing VFX to that one specific case. So now we have sparks at the contact point of the weapon and the ground. And once again, it differs depending on the terrain it's on. Was it worth it? Yes. When the Monarch uses up all their crown energy, such as after Pegasus running for too long, a moment of rest is forced upon the player, where they will not be able to perform any actions that require crown charge. Which begs yet another question. If you expend all your crown energy and there's no UI to reflect the consequences of your actions, are you really tired? Yes, but wouldn't it be better if you could see how tired you were? The character VFX isn't exclusive to the Monarch, of course. NPCs also do stuff, like being scared and dying. All of which are great, but can become better with some VFX to communicate what they're feeling. All of these effects by themselves may seem small, but they contribute largely to the amount of life your game radiates. You're not just building a game, you're building an actual world with real characters and objects in-game. These effects may also seem tedious, as it requires an often disproportionate amount of effort for something that should be in the background. If your development pipeline allows for this extra effort, or if you need a change of pace from implementing larger features, you may find that the payoff is much larger than expected. To revisit the first statement of this video, we put the majority of our focus in the high-action, flashy moments that we often forget about the little guy. But this isn't necessarily a bad thing. In the same way that good design is invisible, extraordinary VFX should also be invisible, such that it adds a lot of value without drawing too much attention. If we don't want extraordinary VFX to draw attention, then I invite you, during moments of respite in your next gaming session, to instead pay attention to these VFX and take a moment to appreciate the value that they add. That's it for the video. I hope this helped you out one way or another. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please feel free to leave them below. And of course, I have to add that these are all suggestions on what you can do for your next project. I will never ever tell you how you should exactly do something. Take what you feel resonates with you personally, and feel free to disagree or question some points that you don't find as convincing. Before I go, I want to give thanks to a few awesome people. To our local urban legend, Cal, for allowing me to use Overthrown as examples for this video. To our composer, Johannes, for letting me use the amazing tracks he's made as background music for the video. I'll put his links in the description. To all my lovely patrons for the support. And to you, the viewer, for watching this video. If you like the bits of Overthrown that you saw in the video, you can wishlist the game on Steam and try the demo out right now. You can also check out our socials for updates and silly fun times. Take care, and I hope you have a great one.